Hey guys, Jen here, and I'm back with another episode of my collection Disconnection series. This is a series where I take a single manufacturer's collection, make a bunch of layouts with it that are different, and show you kind of different ways that you can use the papers and embellishments and different things in the collection. Today I'm going to be scrapbooking these 3 photos of my daughter. She's been wearing my husband's sunglasses lately, and it's super cute, and she looks so grown up, it's freaking me out. So I wanted to use these 3 photos. She has different faces in each one. This one's just smiling, this one her eyebrows are up, and this one she's kind of making a stank face. And I'm going to use this pattern paper, which is a cut apart really, and I'm going to use a whole strip of these frames, these wreaths, intact. So what my plan is to cut out the center and place the photo behind it, and I'm just going to cut off this strip right here at the top with 3 different colors, because what I want to do is I'm going to use I have a piece of 12 by 12 watercolor paper cut out. You could use white cardstock if you don't have watercolor paper, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the strip on here and then watercolor the same color behind it so it's coming up and out of it. So we'll see how that goes. If I need to, I have more watercolor paper if I mess up or anything, but it should be fine. I did drip a little piece of, I have a cup of water by my desk and I dripped a little bit right there, but it should dry and be okay. I wanted to tell you also that you can use other cut apart sheets, not just ones like this, for similar techniques. So I have this one, and I thought that I would just point out that you could do something similar by using these 2 together as a whole strip across a page, and you could cut out the center of this one. And you could use it that way, or you could use a strip like this that's all 3 by 4 cards, and maybe you could put a photo here, and you could put a photo in here. You can do it however you want, but I think it's a fun idea to use a whole strip, and you can see how they work together. This one works particularly well for that, but I wanted to point out that you can do it with other cut apart sheets, just depending on, you know, what it looks like and what your preference is and stuff like that. So that's what my plan is. I might cut out some of the cameras from this because it is just a bunch of photos that I was snapping of her in the car, so I might cut out some cameras. I'm not sure. I've also pulled some embellishments from the die cuts, and I'll be looking through the stickers and stuff too, but I also pulled cameras from there, so I might not need to cut any of these out. So we'll see how it goes and what it's looking like. But that's where I'm starting, and I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and get painting on this layout.
So I'm going to start by trimming my photos, and I printed them at 3 by 3, and I'm not doing an awesome job of trimming them because I know that they're going to rest behind those wreaths. And I made sure to cut my paper, my photo paper, which was 8.5 by 11. I cut it so that I had a 4 by 6 square left over because I can run that through my printer again. So here I trimmed out those wreaths, and now I'm going to just use these really cheap watercolors to mix some colors that match the pattern paper behind the wreaths. And I'm just taking a large round paintbrush, or actually I think it's a flat brush, it's a filbert maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter, you can use any brush. And I'm just painting in I'm just like randomly swashing on the color, and then I added in just so that there was a little bit of variation in the coloring. I just went in and dabbed some more color in a few spots just to get it looking less uniform, even though in the end it really does look pretty uniform, which is fine. All I was looking for here was color and not so much like a watercolor technique. Which, P.S., if you do want to try watercolor techniques on your layouts, you should definitely check out Arit Landgraf, my friend here on YouTube, has a new class called something, and I think it's Watercolor for Scrapbookers, and so you should check that out if you are interested in watercoloring on your scrapbook layouts. But this was just a simple coloring. So you can see I mixed those colors there to match, and I'm using my heat gun because I'm lazy and I am impatient. And so what I like to do to get less warping is I'll heat it up from the front, and then I'll also heat it from the back because that helps it to dry a little bit differently, and it helps it to be a little bit more even. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim out the centers of these wreaths. I'm going to skip through this for you, but I'm just using some micro tip scissors from Close to My Heart and trimming pretty closely to the inside of the wreath and around the flowers. And then I'm going to arrange my photos inside. And I think it looks so super cute. I love the way this looks. I am opening up some double-sided tape, and I'm using a 1/8 inch. This is from ThermoWeb, and I'm just putting some tape around the outside of each wreath. And I'm doing it this way because I want my photo to rest in a certain spot within the circle. And so what I'm going to do is just take off the adhesive backing off one wreath at a time, and then just kind of hover it over my photo and get the placement just right so I can just push it down. And I used the 1/8 inch so that there wasn't any parts that would go where the photo wasn't, so it didn't stick to my background yet, if that makes sense. So I'm just peeling off the backing from one wreath at a time, arranging my photo inside of it, and then kind of just sticking it down. And I found that that was a good way for me to get just the right placement. Well, a couple of my photos, so I was sitting in the front seat of the car and we were at a stoplight, and I hurried and took these photos really quick because my daughter was just looking so super cute, and she's been wearing my husband's sunglasses in the car, which is funny. She's 11, but she looks so grown up, and it's freaking me out. So I just hurried and snapped them, and so some of them were a little crooked, so that's why I wanted to make sure I got the placement a little bit better than what it was if I would have just used the photo square. So I'm going to use some of these word thickers, and I like the word beautiful, and I love the way that it looks kind of formed around my circle. I hadn't planned on that, but I'm really happy that I did it. And so I was going to do hello beautiful, but then there are some letters that are inside of a speech bubble, so you can use the letters by themselves, and you can also use the speech bubble, and it has the word smile cut out of it, and so my title will be Smile Beautiful. And now what I'm going to do is go through my stickers and embellishments, and I'm going to color coordinate my embellishing. And so I'm using some word stickers, and I'm using some die cuts, and that little hello that you see that's kind of that aqua color up at the top, that is from the 6x6 paper pad, and it is the cut apart sheet from the 6x6 paper pad, so it's smaller. And I'm going to use that as well. So just pulling the random bits that match the colors. I had a hard time with the yellow. I felt like I needed one more large yellow element, but I just couldn't find what I needed. And so it's lacking just a little bit, but it ends up working out. So that little, the pink cluster that has the word notes, and then it has like a little journaling spot. The little noted, I think it says notes or noted, I can't remember. But that's also from the cut apart sheet from the 6x6 paper pad. That's just a smaller size. So I thought that worked well. And then I thought I would go ahead and add some puffy stickers to each embellishment cluster. And so I'm going to use some cameras, and I thought about using some of the flowers, and I just kind of placed the flowers on top of the wreaths. I will end up taking those off because I felt like they didn't add anything, and I want to save my puffy stickers if I'm going to use them. So I felt like they didn't add to the layout enough. Right now you can't even see them on there, so I don't think it's a big deal that I took them off. So I'm outlining some of these so that they stand out more, and also so they coordinate better with that little outlined sticker that has the journaling lines on it. And I kind of like the way there's a little piece of a sticker sticking up next to the word smile, and it kind of looks like a crown, which I think is funny. So for a minute I thought I would heavily embellish the center pink portion, and it is going to get maybe a little bit more embellished than the others, but I'm going to keep it actually fairly even. So I decided I wanted to use that pink camera, which is a die cut, and then I also wanted to use that huge green heart, and it's a little bit too big, but I'm going to end up using it anyway, and I just don't care. I'm going to use some of these wood buttons. They come with a foam adhesive on the back, which is way too thick for me, so I just peel it off and use a glue dot, and I just pulled one for each cluster. I didn't have an aqua one, and so I just used a black and white one for that cluster. And you can see that I made it so that they go up, down, up, where the placement is, and that helps bounce your eye around the photos and around the layout. So I like to draw your eye by using the embellishments that way. So since there's only 3 of those really dimensional wood buttons, your eye does kind of just follow where they lead you. So it was important to me that they led you through the photos. So now I'm going to add my journaling. I'm using a Sharpie pen because it's a slick sticker, and I just simply wrote, always wearing Philip Sonny's, looking full grown, because she's always wearing his sunglasses and she looks so grown up. And that's really all I wanted to say here. I added my date with a roller date stamp, and then I thought I needed to add something else to embellish this with the coloring. Like I wanted to do the color on color. And so I went and pulled a super old Chamel stamp set she designed back when 2Ps was a thing, and I ordered it from there. And I'm going to use those in each embellishment cluster, or like each column of embellishment. I'm doing yellow stamping tone on tone, the aqua, and then I will do pink as well. So the one on the right says seriously, the yellow one says oh really, and then I'm going to use one that says real life, or it said more than that, but I only inked up part of the stamp, so I just got part of it. And you can't see the pink one as much, but that's okay, because I was more looking for kind of the addition of that color and just some texture to kind of move your eye around. So now I'm going to go back to my puffy stickers, and I'm going to add that lion because it's yellow and it matches, and I don't care that it has nothing to do with the lions. I added a couple of more cameras, a pink one and a teal one, and then I took off those puffy stickers that didn't add anything to the flowers. Now what I'm doing is adding just a little bit of spray mist to each column, and so I added some yellow, some pink, and then I'll add some aqua, and that is pretty much going to finish this one off. I'm going to dab up some of the ink. It was taking a long time to dry. I find that my older Mr. Huey's spray mists are very hard to, they take forever to dry, some of them. And so I'm just using a baby wipe, and I'm kind of dabbing some of it up, and I'm also just kind of placing the tip on the wet part of the dot to soak up some of the paint. And that is going to finish this one off. So I hope that you'll try something like this where you use a cut apart sheet in a strip, or embellish in colors and in columns like this. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. I've linked to all of the available products, and you can head over to my blog at craftygenschow.com for more information. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.